Gary, I know it's been a really busy few weeks and in some respects a really tough few weeks as well. Overall, though, you must be delighted with the consistency levels within the performances to have played in a variety of different competitions for most of the players to have had a touch of the ball, and by and large, minute by minute, the performance levels have been there.
Yeah, it's been a real heavy schedule that we've been through, and the players have all played their part. So the good thing is every member of the squad has had some game time, and it's important now going into the Christmas New Year programme that everybody's up to speed and can be called upon.
Yeah, there's probably a sense moving forward. Of course, you never know what's going to happen next, and I guess you may end up with a replay in the FA Cup, but it's unlikely actually you'll go through anything like the past month or so with so many games.
Yeah, it's been, as I said there, it's been a heavy schedule, but no, we're not looking to have a replay in the next batch of games, that's for sure. So if we can get it done and dusted at the weekend, that would be good, but we know we're coming up against tough opposition as well. So I think both clubs would like a decision come Saturday.
Yeah, obviously Exeter very well, and last season, I think alongside Stevenage, the only side to beat you home and away in League Two, so you know just how good they can be.
Yeah, we know how good they are, as you've touched upon there last season, they're a good outfit, and obviously this year they're in good form as well. So yeah, it's a tough opponent that we're up against, and as I say, they're in good form, but we're going to the game looking to try and get through.
Yeah, probably their first round tie, typical of Exeter as a side. They're really tough to beat. You look at the stats, the one that stands out clearly across all competitions, only losing the two games this season really speaks for itself.
Well, it does, yeah. As I said, they're in good form. The manager Matt down there and his backroom staff have done an excellent job. They develop players along the way as well, but also pick up results. So credit to them, and we know we're in for a tough afternoon come Saturday.
Yeah, is it fair to say they're a club that, from the outside looking in, a lot of other people within football like the way that they're run and like the way they do things?
Yeah, definitely. They've done it for a number of years, going back as well, but more recently, they develop players as well, and players have gone on to other clubs, but they've been able to bring younger players in, keep the results going as well, and be at the right end of the table. So, and the style of play they play as well, it's a nice style. They develop, produce players along the way, but as I said, they get results at the same time. So it's a nice mix and blend that they've got there.
On a technical level, does it make too much difference that you only knew for certain that it would be Exeter on Tuesday night with your preparations? Has that changed much?
It's slightly more difficult because, we didn't know until late. You're looking at Exeter and Bradford at the same time. Come Tuesday evening, we then knew it was Exeter. So in the last day or so, we've been concentrating on Exeter. But we know a little bit about them from last year. But over the last 24 hours or so, and we've been looking at them, games that they've played. So we'll be well prepared going into the game come Saturday.
And looking at your team news, when we spoke with Mark this time last week, he said that Lloyd Jones had been back on the grass and was beginning to progress. Has that progression continued? Is he making forward steps?
Yeah, he is, but the game will come, too soon for him. He's been out for a period of time. He needs more work on the training ground. So, as you say, the game is too soon for him.
Yeah, it's been tough, hasn't it, for him, in that I think initially it was hoped that he'd be back after a couple of weeks. That's now extended to a month. Psychologically, that must be tough where you're hoping to be back and it seems like you might be back and it doesn't quite happen.
Yeah, and he just wants to play games, and we've had to shuffle the pack a little bit at the back. Jack's gone in at centre half as well, and Dunks has come in at left back. So we've had to shuffle it around a little bit. So credit to all the players, to get the performances and you know, as soon as Lloyd is back, you know, that gives us extra competition there as well. So that would be better for Bonds in terms of his team selection.
Yeah, and of course it's easy to talk about the team spirit, but particularly in that area of the pitch over the past few games, brilliant example of team spirit really, in that Jack's had to do a different role. Harrison, who's been out of the side, has come in and been really consistent across a number of starts. It's exactly what you need.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, Gibbs and Connor have contributed to that as well. So, yeah, the team spirit, you know, we always touch upon it. It's outstanding, really. So we just have to keep that going. And hopefully Lloyd gets back sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Shiloh Tracy coming off the bench on Tuesday night will obviously be pleased to have scored his goal. Is he now ready for a start this weekend? Is that a possibility for him, or is the game a bit too soon?
Well, again, for Shiloh, he's, you know, in the last week or so, he's, you know, getting closer to being 100% fit. It was nice that he's come off the bench and scored. So, yeah, we don't want to rush, you know, any of the players that have been out injured, because, you know, we haven't got the biggest squad in the world. So we just be careful with him, but pleasing that he's come off the bench and scored a goal. So he'll be in good shape, yeah.
Yeah, potentially moving forward, a really interesting battle out on the right, in that Shiloh have been playing so well. We now have Sam Smith, who's come in and done that role brilliantly, and Jack Lancaster in the mix as well. It could be a really interesting one.
Yeah, you know, the players that you mentioned there, you know, have done very, very well. They're good players. You know, Jack has been unfortunate with the injuries that he's picked up since he's been at the club, but they're three very good players. You know, Shiloh, as we know, Sam has done an outstanding job out there, and the goals returned from that position has been outstanding. So, yeah, plenty of competition in that area of the team.
Yeah, brilliant example, really, Shiloh, in that he was in with Shrewsbury last season at League One level, dropped down to League Two, and then he's worked his way back up, and he's become a real fixture in this team. A great example to other young players of football doesn't necessarily work in a straight line. You just have to keep plugging away.
Yeah, you do, and you have to have the right attitude, mentality, and everything else that goes in the mix. Not just your ability, and you know, there's a lot of things that make a good player. And he's taken, you know, a step back, hopefully to go forward again later on in his career. So he's got all the ability in the world to go forward yet again. But sometimes you need to take a step back, you know, gain some experience, get some games under your belt at whatever level, and then hopefully then your ability will shine through.
Thanks, Gary. That's great for me.
Thank you.
Gary, just a couple for me quickly. I read that Connor Masterson is open to extending his loan from QPR. Well, what are your thoughts on how he's performed for the club so far, and possibly keeping him here long term?
Well, for Connor, you know, it's been good for him. He's come in, he's played a lot of games as well, which is what he wanted, what he needed. And for every player at this football club, you know, they have a run of games, they come out, have a little breather and go back in, you know, and no different for Connor as well. He's done that. And, you know, his performances have been good. He had a little dip, and now he's coming again. So, you know, he's just got to be consistent with his performances, you know, just knuckle down like he has done. And, you know, we'll see what comes around when his loan period expires. So that'll be the decision nearer the time.
Also, you mentioned how good Exeter are, how well drilled they are. Well, what are some of the keys that you guys are going to have to do, and some of the things that you guys will have to perform out there in order to get a victory and move on to the third round? It's
quite a difficult one then, because we know a lot about them, but they've changed their formation and their shape, you know, a number of times during the course of the season, which probably helps with how their return of results have been, because when you're preparing to play against them, you're not so sure, you're not 100% sure what system they're going to play. So we'll cover all bases, give the information to the players, and you know, show them their strengths and their weaknesses, and then hopefully come Saturday, you know, we'll be able to hurt them and not allow them to hurt us. So it's a cup game, you know, and anything can happen in a cup game. It's the FA Cup, and something that we're all looking forward to.
Well, final question for me. I know that you obviously don't want to look ahead, but just the thought of getting to the third round and possibly facing a high-end championship team or possibly a Premier League team, does that even enter in the players' minds and the coaching staff's minds?
No, not yet. It's that old boring, comment of game by game, which you'll obviously thought I'd say anyway. But no, look, it's the FA Cup and we're looking forward to it. And the big prize is exactly what your comment was there. So for both clubs to progress and stuff like that will be important. But we have to win that game first. It's as simple as that.
Brilliant. Good luck on Saturday, Gary.
Thank you.
Okay, just a quick one from me. Apart from Lloyd, Greg, and Liam, is everybody else fit?
Yeah, the long-term injury is a long-term injury. So after every game, as you know, there's bumps and bruises and stuff like that, and we won't take any risk with anyone. But in the main, everybody's close to being fit and available.
And I guess just so encouraging from those that came in on Tuesday night and performances, just it strengthens the squad and the options you've got.
Yeah, it does. And for them lads who played Tuesday night, it was a good result. They needed the minutes in their legs. You can train as much as you like and as hard as you like, but matches are completely different in games. So it was good that everybody, is up to speed, and going into another busy period, Bonds is able to pick from the whole squad now. Knowing that everybody's up to speed.
Great. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
Hi, Gary.
Oh, yeah.
I guess just following on from that last question, I guess the feel-good factor is growing as well because everyone's contributing, and you probably need that over the Christmas period as well when there's another run of games.
It's important that all the players feel as though they've contributed to the performances and the results, and everybody knows within this squad that they're close to playing anyway. So with the game on Tuesday evening, everybody had an opportunity to do that, and we gained a very good result from that. So yeah, everybody's in good spirits and looking forward to the coming games. Yeah.
And from you personally, as a former FA Cup finalist, how special is the FA Cup to you?
Well, it's a long time ago now, so I can't remember much about it. So, but no, as I said there, it's a fantastic competition. And, for anybody who has a run in the competition and who's fortunate and lucky enough to play in a final, it's an unbelievable experience. So it'd be great for, anybody who can do that. So, yeah, great competition.
Superb. Thanks, Gary. All the best.
Thank you.